As soon as I started doing this, I literally doubled my output. Before, I was producing 1 page a week and sometimes less than that. Now I've consistently produced 2 pages per week without cutting corners, and I feel that my comic is getting better as I go along. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to thumbnail the easy way, how to come up with alternative ideas for your thumbnails quickly, and why this process is like making your comic on easy mode. And to do this, I needed a page to thumbnail, so I chose this one. This is Southern Bastards, a great graphic novel that I recommend if you're looking for new stuff to read. The first thing I did was convert that page into a script. If you want to do this with me, the script is available as a PDF in the description. Or you can just pause the video when I flash it on screen now. And by the way, if you're new, I'm John, a comic creator from the UK, and I help people complete their comics without burning out. So whether you're using the script provided or working on your own page, this is how you thumbnail the easy way. First, just draw the first thing that comes to mind. Don't overthink it, just put down ideas based on what the script says. This shouldn't take you longer than 10 minutes. Even if you draw 2 stick figures standing next to each other and nothing else, get something down. It's important to do this part as quickly as possible because this is where the real work begins, and you can't do that much with a blank page. Now, a lot of new comic creators will then move straight onto the pencil stage, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to come up with some alternative ideas that are either going to validate our existing ideas or improve upon them. So it's a win-win. I'm going to go through each of the panels that I did and talk about what I feel are the strong ideas and the weak ideas. So I like this first image because it establishes where we are. This building here is the sheriff's office and we're in the car park or parking lot, and our hero is walking away towards his truck. And there's plenty of room for the single word balloon. So tick, well done me. What I like about this idea was that the baddie and his goons are taking up 2/3 of the frame, which helps make them seem imposing on our hero. I do feel that there might be a little bit too much going on in this panel though, which could take away from the impact I'm going for. I feel that the word balloons may be competing with the art slightly, so I'll be wanting an alternative for this. I like this one because it establishes who the baddie is with this medium shot. I like his expression and his body language, and I like that he's flanked by 2 goons. Plenty of room for the word balloons to satellite around him too. I like that this one is clear. It's obvious our hero is walking away from the baddie and towards his truck, and I like how everything is contained by the trees in the back. The more I look at this one, the less I like it. We've got our hero driving away and the dog barking after it, which is great because that's what it says in the script. But there's not a huge amount of storytelling going on here. At least, I feel like there could be more to be done with this one. And so this is the second panel that I definitely need an alternative for. So I'm going to come up with 2 alternative ideas, one for this panel and one for this one. So here they are. One of the reasons why coming up with alternative ideas is so difficult is because we feel that we have to. I certainly felt that way while I was at university. It's like showing your workings in maths. Nobody wants to do that. The problem was that I didn't do what I've done in this video. In the past, I wouldn't really look or think about the thumbnails that I'd done, so I didn't really feel that they needed changing. But once you start to ask yourself questions like, is there enough room for the word balloons, or is the panel too cluttered for its size, or is there an opportunity to tell the story in a different way, then you'll be able to come up with an alternative idea more easily because you'll know why you're coming up with the idea. And I think this new idea solves the problems of the first idea, so I'm keeping it. And for this panel, I made this change for one main reason. It felt like I was missing the opportunity to tell a story. One of the problems I had when I started making comics was that I was just making a panel and filling it with stuff. The characters needed to be standing in the panel, so I just drew characters standing in a panel. It's why sometimes you might look at your drawings and feel that they look a bit stiff and lifeless, and that's because you're essentially drawing mannequins when you should be drawing people. Let me show you what I mean. If you focus on this character here, who is our baddie, you may have noticed that his position has changed in this panel. In all the other panels, he's touched tight against his goons, but it's not until our hero is almost out of shot that he decides to step forward. I want to help tell the story that this character is a coward and a bully, and that little decision can help sell that idea. And I felt that this shot gave me enough space within the panel to do that, which is the reason that I made that decision. Now, if you're working with a writer, some writers are really militant and very specific about what they want in their script, but you should still, as the artist, explore alternative ideas because the writer may not have considered something and you might have a better grasp on visual storytelling than them. So even if you work with someone who's a bit of a drill sergeant, still come up with those alternative ideas. They may reject them, but that's fine. You're still improving as a visual storyteller by exploring all these different ideas. So it's always worth doing. Now, at this point, I was starting to run out of steam. I'd spent a long time thinking about the characters and the panels and all that, so I got up and made myself a drink. And by the time I came back and sat down, I noticed a couple of other things. I didn't feel that this panel was helping me tell the visual story enough. It felt like I was just plopping the character into the scene because that's the first panel and we need to establish that he's outside the sheriff's office and walking away from it. I wanted to help tell the story that this guy is upset and tense, and I didn't want a close-up shot because I wanted to keep the background visible. So I came up with this instead. The clenched fist tells us a lot about how this guy is feeling, and we can see he's walking towards his truck when the character off-screen calls him out. For panel 4, I wasn't sure if I needed an alternative, but I created one anyway to stress test that initial idea. It's kind of a coin flip for me, this one. I'm not sure which one I prefer. In fact, I'll flip a coin now. Okay, I don't have a coin. What? I'll flip this plectrum. No, I won't. Where have you? Oh, no. I'll flip this plectrum. This is heads and that's tails. Okay. Okay, so this one won. On the plus side, this will be a little easier to draw when I get to the pencils, so that's handy. So how long did this entire process take? So in total, I spent about an hour doing this page, but I easily could have spent another 2 or 3 tinkering with the ideas. And now that I've done this, the rest of the comic is going to be easy for 2 main reasons. 1, I know exactly what I need to draw, and 2, I can draw with confidence. If I'd gone from the first ideas to the pencils, then I may start to notice some of the weaknesses in the panel ideas, which would make me lose confidence in it, start to question it, and inevitably lead to redraws. So instead of spending a couple of hours properly planning, I'm spending hours redrawing a panel, bringing me back to square one and stressing me out. And if we're feeling confident, we tend to draw better. And because I know exactly what I would need to draw for this page, I can focus on character design and texture and anatomy and perspective without having to worry whether the word balloon fits or whether the story has been told in an interesting way. So here are the takeaways for you to consider when you're creating your comic. Draw the first thumbnails quickly and don't overthink it. Self-critique the panels and try and expose the weak ideas by asking relevant questions. Compare the first ideas with the second ideas and commit to a decision. Walk away from it for a while if you're getting annoyed, and enjoy drawing the rest of the page. The great thing about thumbnailing is that you don't need to be at your computer to do it. You can do it effectively anywhere. On your commute to work or school, on your lunch break, while you're on the toilet. Okay, maybe not that last one, but you see my point. A scrap of paper and pen is all you need. I'll often thumbnail bits of my comic Flowers and Shadows when I'm on my lunch break at work. And to be honest, a lot of the time I don't even use those thumbnails in my comic, but thumbnailing isn't about getting the first ideas to be perfect. It's about finding the ideas that are right for your panel and for your comic. And that can and should involve discarding previous ideas. Discarding an idea is just as important as creating an idea. So if you do an entire page of thumbnails only for it to go in the bin, it's not a waste because it will lead you to finding the right answers that you need for your comic. I know this whole thing might seem counterintuitive, that spending more time on thumbnailing can make the entire comic process faster and easier to produce. And if you're not used to it, try it and take note of how less stressful the pencils and inks become when you not only know what you're doing, but you know that this page is as good as it possibly can be. And you may be in a position where you feel that you can't spare the extra time because your life is so busy. In fact, I bet most of you watching this would wish that you had more time to spend on your comic, but you can't because you've got bills to pay and a family to feed. And I know how you feel because I'm in the same position. And I found ways that massively help me maximize the minutes that I have available to me. And in this video, I'll show you how finding the time for your comic is easier than you might think.